After his accident, his primary care provider never even considered the possibility that this patient needed to have blood thinner medication. Find out why the failure of this doctor to give this patient blood thinner medication cost this man his life. You want to know what this is about? Come join me for a moment as I share with you some terrific information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney practicing law here in the state of New York. He had fallen outside of his home. It was a holiday weekend. He was taken by ambulance to the local emergency room, and now he begins to get worked up. His primary care doctor, his internist, said, you know what, let's keep you overnight, let's see how you do. So they did blood tests, they kept him overnight. The next morning, the internist says, you know what, you still can't walk, let's keep you another day. Okay, the next day they did additional blood tests. He came back in and said, you know what, you still can't walk, let's keep you another day. So now 3 days have gone by. Finally, the internist tells the wife, says, listen, we're going to discharge your husband. She says, what do you mean discharge my husband? He can't walk. Why haven't you called an orthopedist to come look at him? And the internist says, well, he didn't really need an orthopedist. Well, guess what? He was overweight. He has a history of heart disease. He had prior heart procedures done, and he's been in bed for 3 entire days. You're not going to call an orthopedist? Finally, the wife convinces the doctor to please call an orthopedist. The next day, the orthopedist comes in, takes a look at him, says, you know what, I think the tendons in your legs are torn, that's why you can't walk. But just to make sure, we're going to send you for an MRI tomorrow. And that's it. So now, the next day comes, he's getting ready to go down for the MRI. On the way down to the MRI, he suffers a massive cardiac arrest and dies. How could that be? It turns out, after doing an autopsy, which is a clinical examination of a person who died to find out what was the cause of death, the medical examiner determined that the reason why this patient died was because he suffered a massive, massive stroke to his lungs called a saddle embolus. And as a result of that, this person died. So now you may ask the question that I asked at the very beginning. Why wouldn't the doctor consider blood thinner medication? It's because it was never on his radar. The fact that this patient was overweight, the fact that this patient had a cardiac history, that never even came to this doctor's mind to think, hey, wait a second, this patient is at risk for developing a blood clot. This patient is at risk for developing a stroke. Let's put him on blood thinner medication. And had he done that, this patient never would have had this massive blood clot that actually killed him. So why do I share this information with you? I share it with you just to give you an insight and an understanding into what went on when I was able to get from the doctor information during his pretrial testimony. In this case where I was helping the family obtain compensation for the injuries and the suffering and the wrongful death, the untimely death of this gentleman. You know, I recognize and I acknowledge you're watching this video because you likely have questions or concerns about your own particular matter. Well, if your matter happened here in New York and you're thinking about bringing a lawsuit, but you have questions that need answers first, what I encourage you to do is pick up the phone and call me. I can answer your legal questions. You know, this is what I do every single day, and I'd love to chat with you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a wonderful day.